Welcome to another episode of Anubhav Sapra Show. Today we have Sayantani Mahapatra, who is a food blogger, photographer, recipe developer, and who also conducts food tours in Kolkata. So, welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, Anubhavji. Thank you for having me today.
So, ma'am, why don't you tell us more about yourself?
So, I'm Shantani. I'm a Bengali, and I was born in the coastal part of Bengal, that is in Midnapur. But when I was around 8 years old, we moved to Shantiniketan, which is a very famous place founded by Kavi Guru Rabindranath Tagore. And my formative years in the rural part of Bengal, and then in the the epicenter of culture, which is Shantiniketan, has formed me as a person and has formed my food philosophy as well. So जब मैं फोटो लेती हूँ तो उसमें सब लोग बोलते हैं कि there is an artistic sense, the way I use light. I do not know if people say that. So that definitely comes from my growing up years from Shanti Niketan. But as I am growing up, what happened that when I got married, actually, every day I used to call my mother, but because before marriage I was not very conversant of cooking. Only cooked a few special dishes. So I used to call my mother for everyday recipes, and then I decided why not to write it down somewhere so that I can use it as a ready reference. Or even I didn't have my kids back then, but I had a niece, so I thought that when I would be not there, when my mother would be not there, so she can actually refer to all those recipes and can have a taste of our home cooking. So that is the main purpose, the sole purpose that I started my blog 14 years back. Then it was a learning process, and I got so involved with that blog, and I got so much of appreciation that right now I'm actually trying to do more research into sub-regional cuisine, the cuisine of the different districts. Right now Bengal has 23 districts, and every district is different in its topography, in its soil condition, in the people who live there. So their food definitely differs, and I'm just trying to know more about it and represent more of it.
मैम काफी पहले आपने ब्लॉगिंग शुरू की 14 years is a long time, long journey.
हाँ
Huh?
जी.
Huh? So when you started, it was more focused on the recipes of Bengali cuisine, or it was more about food explorations, like finding out the lesser known places, talking about it. What exactly was this blog all about?
It was mostly about recipes and my own experiences. Like I still do. I still tell story around a recipe. Sometimes my personal experience, sometimes from mythology, sometimes from Mongol Kabbo, which is a narrative poetry, which is very famous in Bengal, and sometimes even from history. So that was always the focus. But initially, I didn't give much importance to food photography and all. But then I wanted to actually show, when you look at a food, it should tell you a story about when it is cooked, how it is cooked, and maybe it's a festive recipe, so you need to represent that food in that manner. So gradually all these things came into place, but initially it was more about recipes and stories.
Can you tell us more about the food tours which you conduct in Kolkata?
Actually, yes. Because of my blog, there is a person called Deepa Krishnan. She runs this magic tours, and she contacted me. She asked if I was interested in doing some food tours. So most of the food tours that were available at that time in Bengal were like taking people around Calcutta and giving them a taste of what is available in the restaurants or as street foods. तो घर का खाना उस टाइम पे इतना ज्यादा होता नहीं था. Almost 7 years back, I'm telling you. So this is what I started. And when I started, I told that, see, Bengali cooking is so much about seasonal and local produce. So I need to take them to the market to give them give them an idea of the way it is cooked and our utensils and everything. So it's an experience of Bengali cooking, how Bengali home cooking is, the ingredients, the utensils, the cooking methods, and I try to showcase a few of the recipes that they can cook at their home. This is an easy recipe, something like that. And I tell
So,
them the replacements they can make of ingredients.
so it's more about a cooking experience where you go to the market, buy the ingredients, vegetables, or
Yes.
and then you bring it back to your home. Then the person who is participating, they cook with you.
Yes.
So that's how it works. Wow. Even
Yes.
I do the same thing, but in a different way in Delhi. I've been also doing food tours in Delhi for past decade. Like
Yes.
I started in 2011, long back. So, but ours are more focused on street food tours, and then we
Okay.
also do cooking workshops. Something very
Mhm.
similar what you just narrated.
Okay.
So now, ma'am, moving on to the Bengali cuisine. मतलब मेरे से कोई पूछता है कि सबसे ज्यादा पॉपुलर कोई cuisine अगर इंडिया में है सभी स्टेट्स में, तो मुझे लगता है मुझे बंगाली क्विजीन है। क्योंकि जिस तरह से लाइक इवन इफ यू गो टू एनी सिटी यू विल फाइंड होम शेफ्स देयर, or there are restaurants dedicated. Like I live in Dehradun, just from here the place where I live, just 2 kilometers away there's a very nice Bengali restaurant. And in Delhi also we have a lot of Bengali restaurants, and there are home chefs. The Bengali cuisine has become very popular all over India, and in fact that's
Yes.
the most talked about cuisine in all over India. मतलब सबसे ज्यादा जो लोग बात करते हैं इस cuisine के बारे में, तो मुझे पर्सनली लगता है वो बंगाली cuisine है। कंपेयर टू अदर cuisines ऑफ ईस्टर्न इंडिया, जैसे उड़ीसा है या फिर बिहार है, उनके
True.
बारे में उतनी बातचीत नहीं होती है। तो मैम अब पर्सनली क्या ऐसा क्या रीजन रहा कि इतना पॉपुलर कैसे हुआ बंगाली cuisine?
सी इंडिया में बंगाली क्विजीन पॉपुलर हुआ बिकॉज कि बंगाली लोग जो हैं दे लव ट्रैवलिंग. So and they are very fond of their own cooking. So what I have seen, even my parents, my in-laws, every time they are traveling within India and even beyond India, they would love to come back to a Bengali meal, you know. So I think that is one reason. And they love to travel, and then they look for Bengali food around wherever they are. So
Mhm,
I definitely, that is a reason that there are a lot of eateries
mhm,
of Bengali food. And another part is that the Bengali cuisine is very diverse. It uses meat, it uses fish, and it uses a lot of vegetables. And our cooking is very, you know, subtle.
mhm,
The It's not like that. Digesting it is very not very difficult. It's very
mhm,
subtle and very light on your stomach. But what I believe is Bengali cuisine, like any other regional cuisine in India, is being misrepresented nationally and internationally.
mhm,
Because kosha mangsho, luchi, or macher jhol is not what Bengali cooking is all about. And people have this misconception that Bengali cooking is most about, you know, mach bhat, mishti. Definitely, we love our mach bhat and
mhm,
mishti,
mhm,
but fish or any non-veg is only 25% of what we eat on a. If you look at a thali, a Bengali thali, you will find that only 25% present that non-veg part. So we eat a lot of vegetables, which is not much represented, you know, nationally or internationally.
mhm। बिल्कुल सही,
So
बिल्कुल सही कहा आपने। अब लाइक से व्हाट विल बी अ टिपिकल बंगाली थाली, व्हाट विल इट लुक लाइक?
okay, so first thing first, Bengali thali or Bengali eating practices are like a course-based meal. You will be served a lot of things, but there is a specific order in which you are supposed to eat it. Okay, so Bengali cooking, like any other regional cooking of India, is based on the principles of Ayurveda. And it is said that you need to include all the six tastes in any single meal, because that way your saliva would the saliva gland will be more uh, matlab,
हेल्प
it
इन
will,
डाइजेशन।
yeah, help in digestion, and you would feel more satisfied in that way. So all the six days like this, there would be something sweet, there would be something sour, there would be something pungent, there would be something astringent, everything, all the taste would be there. And Bengali cooking, if you look at a Bengali thali, you will see that the left hand side is for the rice. There will be a mound of rice. And here I must mention that even around 1940s, there were 15,000 varieties of indigenous rices that were grown in Bengal. And Bengal was known to grow rices for different purposes. Like for your everyday meal there would be a different rice, and for a festive meal there would be a different rice. A different rice would be there for puja purposes, for the widows, and different rice would be there for making piches, that are the sweet preparations in Bengal. And we eat different types of rice. One is called shetto chal, or the parboiled rice, and this is very easy to digest because our food is totally based on rice. So most people actually eat rice even for breakfast. So you need something that is easily digestible. And the raw rice or the sun-dried rice we use for special purposes or for puja. purposes. So the left hand side would be for rice, and the bottom part would be left, so that you can mix your rice with little bit of curries, different, different course based curries. The meal is supposed to be have sitting on the floor or in a dining table. It is like a sit down meal. And the first course is either a bitter preparation or a green sag or green leafy preparation. Then you will go to the dal with some kind of bhaja or fries. And then you will gradually move to more richer curries, maybe a curry, a mixed vegetable curry with little bit of lentil dumplings or bori. And then you will have your fish, then you will have your meat, then you will have your chutneys or something like that. That is a between meal. And you will end your meal with some kind of dessert, mishti doi or something sweet.
So on a regular basis, I'm sure this won't be. Is it possible to cook it every day, all these dishes, or is it like
Yes.
on special occasions you cook it?
No. This is for everyday meal.
Oh.
A traditional Bengali home, like my father, he refuses to eat if I serve him 1 or 2 dishes at a time. He needs something, at least there would be 5 different kind of curries, like a bitter curry or a sag. Then there will be something bhaja and a dal and a fish curry and a curry, and maybe we'll finish with a chutney.
It's quite an
So yeah,
elaborate preparation.
elaborated too much of work actually.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if you look at it, it's more nutritious that way, that you are not consuming more rice, and it's a very balanced kind of you get protein from your fish, from your dal, and all the nutrients from the different types of vegetables. And eating starting your meal with bitter gourd is really, really good for you.
Ma'am, what are the major spices used in Bengali cuisine? As far as I know, I know only about panchforan and bhaja masla.
Bhaja masala. Actually, if you look at Bengal, then you will see that in the northern part, there is a hilly region and the climate there is quite harsh. And if you come to the coastal region, it is hot and humid. So you can understand the different types of vegetables that grow there. And depending on the availability of the rivers in the different regions, the diversity of fish also changes. So what happens that you cannot say that this is the spice that represent Bengal. So because if you go to different kitchens, what I try to come back to is there are as many kitchens in Bengal as there are as many houses, and each kitchen actually represent a normal Bengali, Bengali food. And what Bengali food is represented in the restaurant menu is not what Bengali people eat at their home. So it is represented by the numerous kitchens that are there. And there are kitchens in, if you go to Himalaya, you will find that there is their diet includes a lot of millet. And if you come to the coastal part, then you will find that a lot of mustard is used, more mustard is used. Then there is the idea of dry fish called shutki, which is eaten in Purbo Medinipur area, the coastal region. Midnapur got divided in 2002 in 2 parts, the east and the west. And in east, people eat a lot of dry fish. But if you go to west, it is a taboo to eat dry fish, though it's a neighboring district. So you can understand the difference in the cuisine. Like Panch Phoron, as you said, that is very popular in the Rad part, that is the western part. But if you go to the northern plains, then you will find that they use a 3 spice, or they use more of methi, they use more of nigella seeds. So it's very difficult to what people think that this is Bengali spice that represent Bengali spice. It actually not true. But yes, Panchforan definitely is there in Bengal. And then there is mustard paste, then poppy seeds, then kashundi, that is a lacto-fermented hot sauce. And the coconut is a big part of our cuisine. And then not spices, but jaggery, especially the date palm jaggery or the khejur gur, nolen gur in winter. Those are very special to our cuisine. And I must thank you for showcasing all these, myriad kitchens of India. Because I remember when you showcased all those kitchens in the Bihar and Patna, and I got astonished that there are so many different, because every time we think of, the cuisine of Bihar, we think of litti, chokha, sattu ka paratha. But there is so much variety. People do not know. Yeah.
In Bihar also, like similar to Bengal, there are different regions, and their different regions have their different food. Mithilanchal ka khana is very different. Bhojpur ka khana is very different. So I think it's similar with all the cuisines
All the cuisines.
of India. It's so
Yes.
diverse in within a state itself. So, ma'am, now next, जो इतने सारे फेस्टिवल्स होते हैं बंगाल में या फिर बंगालीज में, तो उसमें क्या क्या स्पेशल फूड बनता है फेस्टिवल्स के टाइम पे?
Acha. So there is a notion that most Hindus are vegetarians. In Bengal, definitely not. There is a notion that all Brahmins eats only vegetarian food. In Bengal, that is not true. So our Brahmins actually love their meat and fish. So what happens during pujo also, if the pujo takes place in someone's house, so they will follow that all those rituals of eating pure vegetarian food, which is devoid of onion, garlic, and even red lentils or some kind of dal called moted dal. So they are not supposed to eat. But other people, like during Durga Puja, that is the time to feast and gorge on, restaurant food, going out and cooking special dishes. So our festive menu ranges from fish preparation, like normal fish preparation. If we are eating a normal light fish curry at home, so for festive reasons, we'll make a machir kalia, which has some effect of the Muslim era in Murshidabad and all. So yeah, the fish kalia would be there. The different meat-based dishes like biryanis and champ, then kosher mangsho, definitely. And there is bhuna in the, especially the Bengal kitchen, the people who came from East Bengal during the time of partition, they will cook a lot of bhuna with lots of oils and all. And there will be pulaos, like normal rice and fish, but the cooking method will be more, vary towards the richer varieties of dishes. And then we will feast on our sweets. There are as many sweets available in India as many places, Bengal as many places are there. So we will gorge on our sweets also.
अब नेक्स्ट मैम, ये ईस्ट बंगाल क्विजीन एंड वेस्ट बंगाल क्विजीन, इनमें क्या मेजर डिफरेंसेस हैं और सिमिलरिटीज हैं?
Similarities are like we use the same ingredient but in a different manner. So the difference is the way it is used. So if you need to understand that, then you need to look at the, as I said, the regions. So what happens in the Rar region, that is the western part of Bengal, it is more dry and arid, and it's mostly laterite soil and not much grow during the summer. So what happens is they have less diversity in terms of vegetables and fish and all, and they have to fight that adverse condition so much their cooking methods are not that developed. But when it comes to Eastern Indian cuisine, there's a lot of rivers, so they get so many different varieties of fish, and there are so many wild food that grows naturally there. So they have more diverse ingredients to work with. So that is the biggest difference which I see. Since there are a lot of rivers, there is always there is a surplus of fish, so they dry it out. So there is a lot of use of shutki mach or dry fish, and their food is more pungent, more spicy. But here in this part, since it is very dry and humid, so people tend to eat very light food, and they are cooking like the normal fish curry, which would be cooked in Bangladesh with maybe little bit of garlic and all. Here it would be cooked with little bit of tempering mostly, just maybe little panchforon or nigella seeds or something like that. So that is again a difference. And then what I see is a major difference in their pithe making. In Bengal cuisine there will be a lot of pithes. Pithe is a sweet preparation that is mostly done with rice and jaggery and coconut. But in Eastern Bengali cuisine, you will find a lot of pithe that uses egg, that uses non-veg item. So that is a big difference, because in here in the Ghoti, we call it Ghoti people. The people who represent West Bengal, they are the Ghoti, and people who came from Bangladesh, they are called the Bangal. So in Ghoti cooking, what happens is pithe is mostly offered to God. So we do not use any kind of non-veg and all that. Even our savory pithes are all vegetarian kind. But for them, it is not so. So they use a lot of bhartas, that is a dry mix of different non-veg items, and eggs and all such sort. So you get more variety in their pithe making.
Majority हरिक, आपने जैसे बताया कि इतने सारे डिफरेंट डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स हैं वेस्ट बंगाल में, नॉट ओनली वेस्ट बंगाल, और तो वहाँ पे अलग अलग डिस्ट्रिक्ट के अलग अलग कुछ ना कुछ स्पेशल डिशेस होंगे, तो उनमें से कुछ डिशेस के बारे में आप बता सकते हैं?
Okay. Like if you go to the Darjeeling region, you will find, as I said, that you will find a lot of cheese, local cheeses there, and you will find a lot of millet. So they make a millet bread or millet ka pakoda, something like that. And if you come to the northern Bengal part, North Bengal part, the northern plains of Bengal, actually, this place is called the Barendro, and their cooking is very different. They like the normal shukto that we cook here in the Hoti kitchen. What will happen is that we will use mustard paste and panch foran, and they will use different tempering, and uh, there would be no mustard paste and no milk in that. So something like that. And there is this chapur ghonto, that is a dry dish of different vegetables, and lentil is made into a paste and actually put on a tawa, and then it is dry roasted on a skillet, and that is used with little bit of coconut. So chapur ghonto is very famous. And in a Rajbongshi kitchen, that is a tribe in the northern part, you will find a dish called palka, which is nothing but a mix of different types of local greens that is later thickened with a little bit of millet or maybe little bit of rice powder, something like that. If you come to coastal region, then you will find dishes like there is all the dishes actually depend on what is available in that area locally and what is available seasonally. So in the coastal part, you will find because of the hot and humid region, it is so people generally tend towards eating something khatta kind of a food. So even the fish is made into a curry with some souring agent, local souring agent, or dried mangoes or something like that. If you go to west, you will find a lot of posto besh. This posto is poppy seed, and it has a lot of properties, and one of which is it actually cools your body down, and you get it cools your body and soothes your nerves so that you can get a good night's sleep. And since the western part is very hot and not humid, it's very dry actually. So there you will find a lot of posto veg dishes, and like that only goes on. And there are certain certain sweets that are very famous in different regions, which sometimes not even the Bengalis know. Like I can tell you about mishti called baborsha, which is very similar to ghevar in Rajasthan. But you go back in history, you will find that that has nothing to do with ghevar. It actually got developed locally because that were the only ingredients available there. So they made a ghevar, which is available in Paschim Medinipur, a place called Khirpai. And then jalebi is famous everywhere, and it is made of different, sometimes with dal, sometimes with besan, sometimes a fermented rice paste. But there is a place called Narajol where a different type of jalebi is made out of green gram. So all these, the local delicacies that has not come into mainstream Bengali kitchen, but that are there, and people locally are enjoying it.
बिल्कुल मैम, आपसे बात करके लग रहा है कि हमने तो कुछ एक्सप्लोर किया ही नहीं है. We have been to just Kolkata and we thought like we are done, but I think
No,
there's
no.
a lot more to explore in Bengal.
Even
Yeah.
yes, even if you go to Murshidabad was the capital of Bengal before Kolkata was made the capital by the East India Company. And so Murshid Quli Khan actually named it Murshidabad after his name. So what happens there, if you go there, you will find there's a lot of Muslim, Muslim spices or the cooking techniques that has got into their cooking. And there is a very famous dish there called Mahi Pulao, which is a fish biryani. And the fish in question here is the normal rohu fish that we Bengalis eat every day. So if you go to different region, even in the sub-regional places, you will find lot of dishes. And I can't stress the fact that this is very important to understand Bengali cuisine as a whole through the parts, because all these things actually contribute to what Bengali cuisine is today.
So, do you conduct food tours in these places or?
We actually wanted to do a food tour, not only a food tour, but there's a historical tour of these places. But this pandemic happened and all these things got on hold.
And it will be great to maybe do a long duration
Yes,
food experience in whole of Bengal, maybe North Bengal, then west part of Bengal, so
true, true,
different regions, and then go from one city to other city, villages, and explore all these places. It will be very
true, true.
interesting to see and experience that.
I am also just starting to learn about all these things as I'm going into different kitchens
Mhm.
that belongs to my friends or some of my relatives and some of my colleagues and all. I'm just trying to find out, and I think it will take a lot of time to represent it uh,
Mhm.
in something like a research or something like that.
Now I'm moving to the last part of our show. Um, आप कोलकाता में food tours करते हैं. What are the like main street food dishes, or maybe you can say your favorite dishes to try in Kolkata?
See, I didn't grow up in Calcutta, so I do not have lot of knowledge about it, but since I love food, I definitely have explored the Calcutta food in the last 7 years that I am here. So the thing is, I love a good breakfast. So, and there is a lot of kachuri tarkari and luchi tarkaris that are available all through Kolkata. But my favorite is the club kachuris, which are the small kachuris,
Mhm.
in Chitpur area. And
Mhm.
they serve with a sweet and sour, this potato curry or sweet and sour, sweet and spicy, this chana dal ki curry, and I love that.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite places definitely this Chitpur, and then there is Maharani in Lake Market area. And I cannot say sometimes that is my dinner actually. I love my egg rolls,
Mhm.
especially the egg and mutton roll. There is a place called
Mhm.
Kushum rolls. I love their egg rolls, egg mutton, or they make a liver roll also. That
Mhm.
is delicious, I can tell you. Then I love my momos, and it's almost everywhere. So I cannot figure out which one. Almost everywhere it is available, but I prefer the stalls which serve a little bit of soup to go with it because that actually fills you in. And then there is Puchka, definitely. And I cannot name other places than Dinesh, who is selling fuchka locally, that the place where I live. I love his fuchka because he adds, Gondoraj lemon. That is, it's a very fragrant lemon.
Mhm.
Gondoraj lemon leaves and Gondoraj lemon juice in his fuchka, and that water is so refreshing, especially on a hot and humid evening. It's really refreshing. So these are like my favorite street foods. And as for food, I love my biryani also. And there is a place again in Chitpur area that called
Mhm.
Royal ka biryani, and love that biryani from there. They do not put potato in their biryani, but that is lovely to eat.
So, ma'am, if someone is visiting Kolkata just for a day and just for a day and that too for food, so from morning till evening, what all places that person should visit? Say one you have mentioned start with Club Kachori, then evening is
Yes.
puchka, then dinner could be roll, biryani. Any other dishes?
Yeah, definitely. And in between all those meals, you need to sample our this cutlet and chop cutlet culture that we have got from the Britishers. So there are cabins called the Mitro cabin or the Dilhusha cabin, which are like the old day eateries. One must go there and sample all those Kobiraji cutlet, the coverage cutlet, fowl cutlet, or the gravy cutlet. Those are like very specific to Calcutta. You will not get it anywhere else in Bengal. And definitely a properly cooked, a proper meal, a Bengali meal, a thali meal, maybe at O Calcutta or at someone's kitchen.
Mhm. And what about misties, sweets?
Mishtis, yes, that is a different region altogether. You need another day to explore our mishtis. So in Kolkata, the mishtis that are very famous are Shandesh, Rasgulla, and Mishti Doi. But to sample, different kinds of mishtis, you actually have to go to other regions in Bengal. But definitely in Kolkata, you can try. There is something called shor bhaja, which is the malai of the milk that is collected, and then once it's a little bit dry, that is cut and deep fried in ghee and then put in sugar syrup, and that is something to die for. And there is a sweet shop called Kamdhenu. I think their shor bhaja for me personally, I think their shor bhaja is best. So yes, and there is this talshan shandesh, which is a little bit of sugar syrup, or little bit of, in winter they put little bit of nolen gur, that is date palm jaggery, inside the shandesh. And there is a place called Mishti Hav. It's actually famous in Chandanagar, but that is little far from Calcutta. But there is a place called Mishti Hav near the airport area. So you can come there and you can try different sub-regional categories of, different types of mishtis that are available locally in the other parts of Bengal.
And where to get the best rasgulla?
Rasgulla, I don't know. I won't say that Vinchandra Das are all the famous shops. I think one must try, the local small eateries. All these big places, no, they make this spongy kind of rasgulla, which is little chewy and all. But if you go to the small shops, no, any small shops, you will find very soft kind of a rasgulla, which is more satisfying to eat.
In fact, yesterday only I received a message from someone on Instagram that there's a new sweet shop that has opened up in Delhi, and I'll tell you the name. Just give me a second. The name of the shop is Calcutta Mithai. I haven't been there. They have just opened up in Pitampura. That's North Delhi. For us, like in Delhi, we usually go to CR Park.
Yes, yes.
CR Park. I conduct food walks there. तो जो
Achha.
market 1, market 2 में जाके we start with puchka, then we move on to घुगनी, then rolls, and फिर chops. दादू के यहाँ chops खाते हैं. Then माँ तारा is a very old restaurant. तो वहाँ पे पूरा proper Bengali थाली. We go there. Then for sweets we go to Kamla Sweets, and Josuraj is also there. So for us, like मतलब Bengali food is very easily accessible in Delhi. एंड बहुत अच्छा खाना मिल जाता है, अच्छी चीज मिल जाती है. तो आप जब दिल्ली में रहते थे तो कहाँ रहते थे आप?
मैं रहती थी मालविया नगर में.
तो ज्यादा दूर नहीं था सीआर पार्क के?
नहीं नहीं नहीं, ज्यादा दूर नहीं था. और हम लोग मतलब काफी टाइम जाते थे वहां पे, ओनली फॉर स्वीट्स एंड टू गेट आवर इंग्रेडिएंट्स फ्रॉम देयर. एंड द मूढ़ी, we especially I'm from a rural part, no, so muri is a staple for me. So I can't live without my muri, so I used to go there and get all the vegetables and muri and all those things.
हम पता नहीं, मुझे भी काफी समय हो गया. वहां पे एक झाल मुड़ी वाला था जो दिन में कुक की तरह काम करता था और शाम में वो झाल मुड़ी लगाता था. One last question, what's your favorite Bengali dish? We have talked about street food, but one dish which you love cooking at home. And then we would like to end with a quick tip.
See, it's very difficult to say which is my favorite Bengali food. I actually like a home cooked meal, but my kids love this pulao, the holud pulao that we call it. And I cook it often. And I have a tip to share, that you can make a perfect pulao in the microwave. If you're making it in a small quantity, the microwave is the best bed that you can use. So you just need to wash the rice, and for this you need to don't use long grain rice. Like you can use rice like Govinda Bhog or Ambe Mohar or Kalo Nunia, which is available almost everywhere nowadays. So you can use that rice, just wash it, then dry it little bit, then mix it with little bit of turmeric, sugar, and salt. This is a little, sweetish kind of a pulao. Then just saute some cashews and some kishmish in ghee, and then put this rice. Add some aromatics like a little bit of elaichi, little bit of clove, little bit of tej patta, and all those things. Saute it little bit. Add double the water as much as there is rice, and then transfer it to a microwave safe bowl. Okay, along with the water and all. Just taste the seasoning and adjust the seasoning, little bit of maybe sugar, little bit of maybe salt and all, and then cover it with a cling film. And you need to make a small slit in between that, on that cling film, and then cook it in the microwave for 15 minutes on 700 power, and it'll be done. You will get a very fluffy pulao where all the grains are separate. So that is my quick tip. This is called holud pulao. Holud as in yellow. Okay. Because there is a use of turmeric in that pulao. So this is called bashanti pulao or holud pulao.
Oh, bashanti pulao. Yeah. Yes. I've tried it. Yellow rice with dry fruits and
yes, and it tastes really good with some kind of richer curry like kalia or kosher mangsho. Tastes really well.
So, ma'am, thank you so much. If someone wants to sign up for your tours, how can they do that?
they have to sign up through Magic Tours webpage.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you can one can also message me on my Instagram page. So all the details are there.
And your Instagram handle is a homemaker's diary.
Yes, that is also the name of my blog.
Okay, and the email is also mentioned on Instagram. It's a homemaker's diary at yahoo.co.in.